Hello everybody, kia ora, and welcome to this video about the week, the astrology of the week from around, or half a week actually, from around Wednesday the 10th of December until Sunday, the following Sunday. I am going to focus on Neptune turning direct. I did not manage to get out my weekly video last Wednesday, partly because I got a little I had a lot on because I did the video with Ksenia all about Chiron and the upcoming Chiron square with Jupiter, but a whole lot about Chiron and what Chiron means in our lives and how it can help us with our healing, with understanding ourselves, with understanding others, and some of the troubles that we have in life and making that better. Anyway, that was for last week. It came out last Wednesday and I will link it in the description below. For now, I did want to get this video out. I had it all planned, and the focus is the turnaround, the station direct of Neptune, the planet of spiritual connection, mysticism, making dreams and creating a world through dreaming it into existence. Possibly it can go either way. We can just get lost in the dreams, or we can help the dreams to pave a way for reality to follow. So I'm going to talk about that. Neptune is turning direct the day this video comes out or just before even, and it's a slow turnaround. So this video will still be applying right until really February, when Neptune meets up with Saturn. So anyway, to introduce myself, my name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar, and let me turn this a little bit. There we go. You can see it better now. There is the Aotearoa New Zealand calendar, and I make calendars. What's behind here is an ugly basket, but anyway, so I make calendars for New Zealand and Australia. The New Zealand one is out now. You can order it. The Australian one is available now in digital form, and the print version will be available next week. Both calendars are now newly available in digital form. So thank you to that customer who asked us for that. My sister, who's clever with technical things, she's worked out how to do it. And so that's now available as a digital product. Go to the website Sun and Moon Calendar to order one. Okay, this week we've got the last quarter moon of the lunar month of Scorpio, and so things are coming down, but also this Neptune turning direct. I'm going to talk all about that, but first of all I'm going to jump to this week's aspects and transits and go through them one by one in order, and you can go to the timestamps to just go ahead to where you want to, and I'm going to do an all signs breakdown. Okay, and I just want to add that I am doing an absolute no-no in video land. I've got the washing going in the background. As many of you know, I was traveling with my partner for 6 months, and we came back 2 months ago or so, and we've just moved back into my house and finally got the washing machine going. We're desperate for some clean t-shirts and other things, as I'm sure you can imagine. So today it's finally up and running, so it's going in the background. I'm just going to let it keep going because we really need some clean clothes. So hopefully that doesn't come into the sound. Anyway, on with the video. So this week's transits and aspects. We've already had this one, but I'll talk about it. We had Mercury trine to Saturn. This is one of the last ones of the grand water trine that we've been going through in November and December. That was encouraging us to have smooth thinking about how we plan and build for the future. So either on Sunday or on the Monday, depending on where you were in the world, I hope that you were able to do that. I felt like I did have some opportunities that I was able to work with for planning and organizing things that needed structure and showing up to sort of adult responsibilities there. Okay, a difficult one that will be on its way out by the time you get this video, but so I'm going to share it with you in case you need a little bit of a debrief about it. So Monday the 8th of December in probably Europe and America, and on Tuesday the 9th of December in New Zealand, Australia, Mars square Saturn. This is not easy. It is the two malefics. Mars has got a fighting spirit and Mars wants action and to go, go, go. Saturn is about getting things to slow down and take responsibility and do things in a hard and long-term way. And Saturn is about saying no, like getting the restrictions. So as I've said in the description there, the desire to take action is restricted, and all we can do with the square is accept that we are likely to feel stressed and there could be tension and blockage, and we need to work through those slowly but surely. Like, we still need to take the action of Mars, but we need to accept the limitations of Saturn and work through things one bit at a time. So I hope that that went well for you. Okay, and then the big one that's the subject of this video, Neptune stationing direct in the sign of Pisces. This is the last time we will experience this turnaround in our lifetimes. We've had 14 years of Neptune going through the sign of Pisces, and every year Neptune goes retrograde. It's when Neptune is opposite the sun, and roughly from the trine position to the next trine position with the sun. So Neptune's been in retrograde since July. It's now turning around right on that 29th degree of the sign of Pisces, that very final degree. We will not have Neptune in Pisces turning direct again in our lifetimes, because Neptune won't be back to this point until like 160 years from now. So we'll be long gone, and our descendants will be experiencing it. Anyway, I'll talk about that later in the video. There are more aspects this week as well as this one. Okay, we're having the last time of Mercury opposite Venus. Mercury went into an opposition to Uranus, to Uranus on its way forward, and then it went retrograde and backwards, and it opposed Uranus again, and this is the last time it's going into that opposition. So this is a restless energy, and it could bring about messages or communications that are disruptive, uncomfortable, even shocking, depending on where it is in your charts. Okay, but it is the last one of three, and it could be that some of the disruptions and the shocks or that restlessness is a repeat and bringing up themes that came up the last couple of times in October, November. So as you go through it, just be aware it's not going to last forever. And Uranus is about authenticity and truth. So whatever's coming out, it does have to come out, and talking and trying to talk in peaceful ways and positive ways could help work through anything that does come up. Okay. All right, and then one of the final ones, is it the final one? Oh, yeah, one of the final ones of the grand trine, water trine, between Scorpio and Pisces and Cancer. Mercury trine to Neptune, and that's also on the Wednesday and Thursday, the 10th of 11th, a whole lot going on. So it's lovely that we've got that trine position as Neptune turns direct. This is an opportunity to articulate your dreams, your visions, your imaginings about how the world could be, visualizations about how you want your life to be. Articulate, express, describe, think about in logical, mercurial ways, send messages about them. Neptune turning around is a great opportunity to be working on visualizing and manifesting work for the future. And Mercury could help us with putting these ethereal, mystical dreams into words. So do that, and I'll talk more about that as I go more deeply into Neptune turning direct. Okay, then on the 11th, 12th, the Thursday, Friday, depending on where you are in the world, we've got the last quarter moon of this Scorpio lunar month. The moon is waning after that full moon that we had last week. Okay, and then Mercury goes back into Sagittarius. It is still going over the path that it retrograded, because it went into Sagittarius, retrograded back through the early degrees of Sagittarius, back into Scorpio, and now it's going forwards back into Sagittarius. So still going over that landscape that it crossed with its retrograde. So some things are still being revised and completed and redone. This time we have a better chance of getting the things sorted out that came up with the retrograde, and finishing them off, tidying up the details, and being able to complete and then move forward. Okay. And then we've got Mercury sextile Pluto. We've already had this twice before because of the retrograde. This is a great one for articulating, expressing, discussing stuff to do with our deep desires and our deep fears, our deep motivations. Look under the surface and then under the surface below that, like go down deep into the hidden layers. That is what Pluto is, and Mercury can help bring it up to the surface in ways that can be described and labeled. Okay, the other day I had something going on inside me that was hard, a psychological issue, and I knew it was a psychological issue. And sometimes, Dr. Google can be really helpful. I went online and I found a name for it. It was like about anxious attachment. That's what was going on for me. And I did know this. I've looked into it before. I've done so much delving into my layers, as many of us have. But just reminding myself, this has got a label. Other people have this issue, and just reminding myself that it's out there, it's known about, it's got a label, seem to keep it in a manageable place. And Mercury helping Pluto in a sextile relationship, that can help to articulate some of what goes on under us, underneath in our hidden and lurking kind of undescribable, unnamed fears, but also motivations and deep desires. Okay. And then finally on Sunday in some parts of the world, and on Monday in New Zealand, Mars comes into a square with Neptune. Not very easy. This could be like, let's say, you want to act with Mars. Mars wants to act and go forward and do things in a very clear-cut, instinctive, driving and not mucking about way. But Neptune can bring in vagueness, confusion, like, oh, I want to act, I've got to act, but what do? I don't know what's going on, or I don't know what's the truth. So there can be delusion and confusion and vagueness. So try and sort out what is true, and maybe just wait before you take the hard action in case what you're fighting for or doing is not quite right. Wait until the fog clears. Okay. And also on the Sunday or Monday, Mars moves into the sign of Capricorn, and that is for the next couple of months, actually 6 weeks, until 23rd of January. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Capricorn likes to build for things slowly, steadily, in a secure and organized, strategic manner, and Mars loves the strategy. Mars loves the action. Capricorn is prepared to work hard. Mars is prepared to work hard. They go well together. So this is a good one for working towards long-term goals between now and late January. So there we go. That is a roundup of the week. As you can see, there are not all that many easy energies, but the biggest energy, which I'm going to go into in more detail now, but it's a slow and subtle long-term energy, and that is Neptune changing direction. So let's get into talking about that. Okay, so as I mentioned in my intro, this week's focus is about Neptune stationing direct in the sign of Pisces. Neptune takes 165 years to move right around the zodiac, so the last time this happened was around about 165 years ago. We've had Neptune in the sign of Pisces since 2011. There's been a lot of Piscean energy during that time because Neptune is a ruler of Pisces. Neptune has the mysticism and the ethereal nature and the willingness to think about the big universe and our place in the universe with spiritual connection. And there's been a lot of development in that kind of area, also to do with mental health, compassion, charity. Neptune is about unconditional love, and so that's where the charity and empathy come in with Neptune. But Neptune is also mystical, confusing, vague, ethereal, and so there has been confusion and there has been escapism and there has been a victim mentality going on. So I'm going to talk about all of those, the great parts of Neptune and the not so lovely parts of Neptune. All right, so on Wednesday the 10th, if you are in the USA or Europe or Canada, Neptune stations direct. If you are in Australia or New Zealand, as I am, that is on Thursday the 11th, but it is like, it's 1:23 in the morning. Actually, so just New Zealand. Australia, it's on Wednesday night. Let's just say Wednesday for everybody. Neptune's been in retrograde since July. Okay, so we've been having an internal review of what Neptune means in our lives. And Neptune is about how we connect with the whole, the collective consciousness, the collective unconditional love that binds everything in the universe. And also Neptune helps us think about our place in the universe, like the tiny speck that each person is, and our place in the vastness that is everything. And we are everything, and then we are nothing. So Neptune is about us being everything and us being nothing. And what does that mean? We've been reviewing that. And Neptune's also about imagination and visualization, connecting with ethereal, mystical energies. And we've been reviewing that since July with Neptune being retrograde. Okay. So Neptune in Pisces since 2011. So this has been to do with our collective consciousness, our connectivity, and our creativity. And so here are some developments with Neptune being in Pisces over the last 14 years, okay? And I've just chosen some examples of how that has brought out the idea and the understanding of everything being connected. So one example is more awareness of plant communication, and I think, is it the mycelium fungus that apparently connects all the plants and they can communicate with each other? Amazing. That might have been known about before, but it's come into common awareness in that last 14 years. I'm also thinking about Veda Austin's work, and you can look up Veda Austin. She's a fellow New Zealander, actually. Pam Gregory has interviewed her, and that's where I've learnt about her work. She has found ways to receive messages from consciousness, our consciousness or higher consciousness, in water by instant freezing of water, something like that. And this is another example of how it shows that everything is connected, okay? And also there's been more and more meditation practice, mass prayers, and people understanding that we do need to bring in the energetic realm to make life on earth work well, okay? Neptune in Pisces has also brought about more awareness of flow, the need for flow and imagination and creativity. And I've really noticed, like, more and more over that last time, we are so hungry for stories, and that's coming out in all the video content, the streaming of shows, TV shows and movies. You don't need to wait for the Saturday night movie to come on at 8:30. Now that's what we used to have, and then there'd be a Sunday movie. Now you can just see a movie, you can hear a story anytime with video streaming, but also audiobooks. So we can be doing our normal, going about the day, washing the dishes, hanging out the washing, and listening to a story. And the stories are the realm of Neptune, especially fantasy and anything where it's unreal, and it all helps with imagination and empathy, because we understand the different characters, but we want our understanding of the world packaged into a story format or a narrative. And we've recognized that, and we've been supplied with that more and more over the last 14 years. And what else have I got? Oh, right. So I'm a teacher, and a primary teacher sometimes, and I teach music. But also I relieve in classrooms. And I've noticed that more and more schools and just classrooms, either in an official, formal, announced way, or in just an informal way, it's come in more and more that play-based learning is recognized and accepted, where the kids are given time to choose what they want to do, using different equipment in the classroom, and they're allowed to just follow through, and it looks like they're playing and wasting time, but in fact they're learning so much about coordination, how things work, how to develop ideas and create, how to cooperate with each other, and how to develop their interests and follow through with things. It's fantastic. But even when they're doing structured learning, teachers are much more accepting and inclusive of brain breaks. So now it's not like do your maths till 10 straight into writing. No, you do the maths till 5 to 10. You go out for a brain break for 10 minutes, running around, playing a game, something where the mind can just loosen up and have a break and flow, and the body gets active. Then you come back in and you do your writing after that. And the writing is much better because of it. So brain breaks is an example in the education system of the recognition of flow and the way that we can't just be all structured all the time. Okay. All right. And Neptune in Pisces has also brought about more compassion, more acceptance, and one example of this also in education, but in the general world, more acceptance of neurodiversity. And you can jump ahead to my outro. I've described a little bit at length an example of that I came across recently. Okay, and also more acceptance of mental health challenges, and that is fantastic. Like, we're more accepting that of the fact that, you know, there's neurodiversity, and that can come with mental health challenges, or there's mental health challenges due to trauma or whatever it is. More acceptance, it's more widespread that this is household conversations. Okay. Neptune in Pisces has also brought about more recognition of intuition, and realizing that intuition is a wonderful, essential, fundamental human gift and tool, and we've got it. And I couldn't think of any good, sharp examples, concrete examples to write there, and I just thought maybe you guys can write some in the comments if you can think of anything. And Neptune in Pisces has also enhanced our ability to manifest, and so with Neptune we dream, and we can dream, and we can imagine, we can do the visualization work. We still need to bring in the other planets to make that concrete. For example, Saturn. And Saturn is in the sign of Pisces and has been in there since 2023. Sorry if you can hear the washing machine in the background. Saturn is coming together for a conjunction with Neptune in February next year, 2026. That's a big deal. Saturn is about hard, concrete, physical reality, long-term hard work, being responsible, accepting the restrictions and boundaries of life. And Neptune is about the everything, any great, out there, vast possibility. And with these two coming together, we have an opportunity to bring in those wild, incredible, expansive dreams and to work towards making them reality in a realistic, practical way. So, with Neptune turning direct, it is an opportunity to get your manifestation work going, whether you are drawing, writing, talking about, actively thinking about and writing notes on your phone, but I recommend some drawing. Your dreams, your wishes, your imaginative, expansive, fantastical dreams and ideas, okay? And then Saturn's going to come along, and some of them we can make true with the hard work and with accepting real boundaries. But there is possibility to go a lot further with Neptune in there, okay? And by imagining it, we can start to notice and realize that there are possibilities that otherwise we wouldn't even have thought of. So go wild with your imagination, and then from there you can work with what can be made into reality. Okay. All right, so Neptune in Pisces since 2011 has also brought about more glamour and the illusion of glamour and the romanticization of glamour, I guess. And if we think about the photography industry, it's really hard to get a nice photo of a landscape now without the colors being enhanced. It's hard to see a selfie anywhere that hasn't been beautified in some kind of way, like where there's, the skin blemishes are taken out. So it's gone beyond makeup. It's actually in the photo itself. And also, I would say there are more people doing stuff with their faces and beautification processes. Okay, and it's old practices and old technologies that can do this, like older than 2011 since Neptune came into Pisces, but they've just become much more widespread with Neptune in Pisces. So more glamour and more kind of false, in some ways false presentation. Okay, all right. Neptune in Pisces, a downside has been more victim mentality. So the acceptance of neurodiversity, the acceptance of people who have of the true nature of the effects of things like PTSD, other responses from trauma and behaviors that come from trauma, ADHD, Asperger's, autism, HSP, dyslexia, all these factors in neurodiversity. I'm probably missing out, depression. I'm probably missing out some important ones. There's far more acceptance of these now, and that is absolutely wonderful. If I had foreseen this when I was a young person and seeing the way the world was, and could have foreseen how much more accepted those things are now, I would have been so happy to have seen that in the future. However, a downside of that is I feel there is more of a tendency towards victim mentality at times. So you'll see a lot more poor me social media posts, and some of those are important because, social media can give this platform for people to express things that they can't express to the people in their life. And it's a wonderful and important outlet, but sometimes it can get a little bit too self-pitying, I would say. So there can be a lack of stoicism. There can be like, I feel so terrible today, I'm just not going to go out into the world. And that can cause further mental health challenges if you're not getting social connection and fresh air, washing machine's getting really loud now. Sorry, I hope you can hear all right. With Neptune and the tendency to escape, sometimes when we have those mental health challenges or those mental challenges, we can have more tendency just to give up and not to try and not to keep going, even if it's in our interests to keep going out in the world, to keep showing up and to take steps forwards. All right, giving up a little too easily. Okay, there's also been a victim mentality, I feel, in terms of thinking that the government will look after us and relying on that too much, and then over entitlement perhaps, and also just reaction to triggers like hoping to go around in life with no triggers. I mean, that's pretty hard. Yes, it's been wonderful that we recognize that triggers can occur in life and that they can cause a real big reaction in oneself, and that we need to process those and get help with processing them. But we cannot escape all triggers. And Neptune and Pisces might have made some people think that they can tell the world, do not trigger me at all. It's unrealistic. And there's also been a glamorization and support and empathy for some victimhood in terms of dispossessed peoples and populations. And yeah, I won't talk too much about that now because I've got a lot to get through. So Neptune and Pisces has also brought about delusion and illusion and excessive escapism in the form of drug use with illegal drugs like pharmaceuticals, or illegal drugs like there's a bit of gentrification of designer drugs and social drug taking, and some of that's, I think a lot of people have really enjoyed that, but it's also gone overboard in some situations. We've also had fake news, and we just need to be aware of red flags in these areas. Okay. All right, so with the retrograde from July to December this year, there's been an internal review of all of these, the ways that Neptune works in our life, which is about our spiritual connection, our mystical tendencies, our imagination, visualization, desire for fantasy, escapism, compassion, and charity. Okay, we've been more foggy and less clear, less connected to our intuition, maybe not trusting our intuition as much, and perhaps finding there's emotional baggage, more emotional baggage than we realized. Okay, and wondering with that whole spiritual connection, who am I, what am I, where am I going in the world? Okay. And as Neptune turns direct from this week and until, and while Neptune is in Pisces until January, so Neptune will be direct until around about July next year, but we've got this last time of Neptune in Pisces until January, then Neptune is going to move into Aries. It's not going to go back into Pisces in our lifetime. So we've got this last chance in Pisces with that the Pisces themes, which are about where are the illusions, what is true, where are we operating under illusions or deluding ourselves, okay? Where do we need to apply critical thinking, and where do we need to remove rose-colored lenses and avoid escapism, okay? But also, have I written anything about this? Oh yeah, okay. And then Neptune direct in Pisces until January, as well as the clarity returning, we can look to apply creativity, imagination, expansive, creative thinking to our imaginings, our visualizations, our dreaming in what we would love to see for the world, for our lives, for the people in need in the world, for the people with, which is all of us, people with mental health challenges. It's all of us. And there's some people who in your life you will notice more than others. What do we wish for all the people with troubles in the world, and what do we wish for ourselves in the world, and what fantastical, wonderful futures can we visualize? that would be a great thing to work on, that kind of imagining between now and January when Neptune goes into Pisces, and even leading up to the conjunction with Saturn on the 21st of February. Okay. All right. Also, I will mention Neptune is at the 29th degree of Pisces. It is a time of endings. Okay. It's the last time we're going to have Neptune in Pisces in our lifetimes, ever. We've also got Saturn coming up to finishing its time in Pisces. That's been in there for 3 years. They're coming up to the conjunction, which will be in Aries. But these two in Pisces, okay, we've got to allow the old to dissolve. Neptune is about dissolution, things being taken out by the tides, okay? And the way to let the endings come and the way to be dreaming in our future with Neptune is to do it through just letting it flow, not getting too organized and rigid about any planning. Let things flow. Try and have time out. Let your mind float and see what comes up. Okay, and see what goes away, because some things are certainly going to be going away. Leave space. Okay, so what have I written there? Allow the old to dissolve. Leave space. The new is coming, but not yet. Visualize, imagine, dream the future into being. In order to do that, you need to have some time out. Okay, some slow, floaty time. All right. Sign by sign. Do I have time to do this? I've got a music lesson in half an hour. I'm going to try and go really fast. Okay. All right. Pisces, Neptune direct in your first house. That's me as well. More clarity as Neptune comes in into direct motion, and everything to do with us, our whole selves. We've had Neptune going through our first house. We've probably been wondering for 14 years, who am I in this world? Who do I want to help in this world? Feeling foggy, feeling confused, wondering what we are, who we are. This also affects our career, our relationships, especially one-to-one relationships, and our home, family, our foundations. Okay, so all of those, there should be more clarity coming, and also opportunities to dream things and to come into the future, and accepting of endings. Okay, I'm going to move on. Remember, order your sun and moon calendar from sunandmooncalendar.com, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, Pisces. If you are Aries, Neptune has been in your 12th house for the last 14 years. You've been working on how to let go and trust yourself. Inside the 12th house is about where you are separate from the world. The world doesn't know about what's going inside you, and as you are in places where you're away from where everyone's looking, so your home sanctuary or places that you take yourself away to, whether that's travel or places of retreats. Okay, this is a really good time to be waiting, to be still, to listen to the voice inside. So seek solitude if you can, Aries. Neptune is going to be moving into your first house, and you're going to be finding a new way of being in the world that's perhaps more imaginative, more charitable, more flowing, more spiritual. But what is that going to be? Don't decide yet. Just take some time out to work on releasing old emotions and old patterns. Endings are coming, and then the new will come in. So all the best, Aries. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and order your sun and moon calendar from sunandmooncalendar.com. Okay, all right. Taurus, Neptune is moving direct in your 11th house, bringing more clarity as it moves direct, bringing endings as it moves through the last degree of Pisces, and allowing your intuition to work more effectively in your house of long-term goals and long-term dreams and visions for the future, and gains that you get from your career and also your friendship group. So maybe you've been confused and a bit deluded with your friendship groups or your goals, this is a chance to try and seek clarity through intuition, taking time out to allow the voice to rise up from within, and trying to dispel illusions, especially where you've been wearing rose-colored glasses, and see things more clearly and dream into being. Allow the voice to come from within, and also any downloads that you get through taking some time out into meditation or seeing what comes up from within in those areas. It's a time of endings, and the new will be coming soon as Neptune moves into your 12th house, where you'll be really going into the spiritual retreat. Okay, all the best, Taurus. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and order your Aotearoa or your Australia Sun and Moon calendar from sunandmooncalendar.com. If you are Gemini or Gemini rising, Neptune is turning direct in your 10th house. You've had 14 years of Neptune in your house of career, in your status and your reputation, what you're known for in the world. Perhaps you've become involved in more healing practices in your career. Perhaps you've been doing something more imaginative, or something to do with water, or something glamorous like film, photography, TV, acting, all right, or something more artistic and flowing, okay? But you may have been wearing rose-colored glasses. You're going to have the chance, when Neptune moves forward, to dispel some of the confusion, to take some time out. I encourage you to take some time out over the next couple of months while Neptune's still in Pisces, to allow your inner voice to tell you where you're going to go next in your career. What do you really want? What is right for the world? Where can you help other people? Because, you know, Neptune is about charity and compassion. Do you want to do healing work? What is your future in your career? You can allow big ideas. Imagine big things, wonderful, fantastical things. Sorry about the noise of the washing machine. We really need to do some washing. Anyway, that's all I'll say for now. Gemini, what did I say? Am I on the right path? What are my ambitions? What is my professional, vocational purpose, and how do people see me? So things to ponder with this time out that I hope you will take for yourself during December and January. All the best, Gemini. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Aotearoa or your Australia Sun and Moon calendar for 2026. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, please ignore the sound of the washing machine in the background. Neptune is turning direct at 29 degrees of Pisces. This is a time of endings, as Neptune between now and the end of January is in the last few minutes of Pisces. It's a time to be seeking clarity. It's a time to be trying to access intuition through taking some time out for meditation. This is in your 9th house of what you believe about your world, your philosophy of life, your seeking of higher truth and meaning, okay? And this could be in the form of connecting with other cultures, understanding higher religions, traveling, exploring belief systems and philosophies, or doing higher learning, okay? So what is your spiritual mission? I know I've got some notes here. How do you seek meaning? What is the meaning that you are seeking? Through learning, exploring, and understanding other cultures and other ways of doing things, you can realize where you may have become disillusioned, and what are the new sets of beliefs or understanding of life's meaning that can come to you. So take some time out to ponder that, Cancer, and all the best. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Australia or your Aotearoa Sun and Moon calendar for 2026. Okay. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, I'm sorry about the noise of the washing machine in the background. Neptune is turning direct at 29 degrees of Pisces, and as it goes through the last minutes of the sign of Pisces between now and January, it's a good time to take a bit of time out to think about what's going on in your 8th house. This is about your partner's money or shared resources with your partners or business partners or clients. It's also about your emotional depths, your underlying layers, where you connect with intimacy or where you share power with another. And that's pretty deep. Okay, and can be about your deep psychological underlying layers and even occult practices. Okay, so it's a hidden depths. All right, so it's a good idea to review what you think and believe and understand about those things. Have you been illusioned? Do you need to remove your rose-colored lens? What clarity do you need with these? Also accept there's going to be endings in any of those areas. It's a good time also to have that time out just to access your intuition about what needs to end and to work on dreaming in, or allow rather than work. Allow. Neptune is more about this allowing flow, about what you want for the future in those areas. So all the best, Leo. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar to order your Aotearoa or your Australia 2026 Sun and Moon Calendar. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, Neptune is turning direct at 29 degrees, the last minutes of Pisces. This is in your 7th house of partnership, one-to-one relationships where you and someone else are in a one-to-one relationship. This can be a life partner, a committed relationship, a business partner, somebody that you work with on something, clients, therapists, whatever one-to-one relationship it is. You can achieve more clarity. You need to accept some endings are coming up between now and January and even February, and you can access intuition. Take some time out if you can to ponder, where are you with your relationships? How is the power sharing in those relationships? Do you need to remove your rose-colored lenses and see things in a way without illusion? Okay, so what has been going on with the interpersonal dynamics, and what are the spiritual bonds and the healing through partnership that you can allow in, because Neptune can be very healing, and where do you need empathy for others? Okay, so allow some time out to let your intuition bubble up and the endings to come that need to. All the best, Virgo. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar for your 2026 Sun and Moon Calendar for Australia or Aotearoa New Zealand. If you are Libra, Sun, Moon or Rising, especially Libra Rising, Neptune is turning direct in the last few minutes of Pisces. It will be in Pisces for the last time in our lifetimes between now and around about the end of January. This is a time to take some time out where you can to ponder and allow thoughts and feelings and intuition to bubble up and flow, and endings to occur. Okay, so we have some endings, and this is going to be in your 6th house, Libra. Okay, this is your house of how you give service in the world, your daily work, your daily routines, the health of your body, and how you look after your health through your routines and daily practices, how you keep your life organized. Okay, but also your daily work that you go to. So perhaps your daily service and your purpose has been unclear in that. Perhaps you've had a messy schedule, and you can look for clarity and good rhythms to come back, and good organizations. Spiritual practices could help. Compassion and empathy for others around you, your colleagues, your pets, others that you work with on your daily routines. That could help. Try to follow your intuition, allow things to flow, and allow endings to occur, because this is a time of endings, and also give some time to dream in what you would love to see in the future. Okay, all the best, Libra. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Aotearoa New Zealand or your Australia copy of the 2026 calendar. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, Neptune is turning direct in the last few minutes of Pisces in your 5th house. This is the house of romance, dating, fun, love partners, also your children, also the things that you do for joy and pleasure, and entrepreneurial projects that are driven from your heart. They are heartfelt. This is a time to review those things through some time out, some meditation, allowing things to bubble up, intuition to come, and things to flow. Some things will be flowing away. Between now and January, these last few weeks of Neptune being in the sign of Pisces, it's a time of endings, and we need to allow some things to dissolve or to be taken away by the tides. Okay? But also intuition could come. Respect that intuition. We also might be seeing things in a clearer way. The rosy glow, the rose-colored lenses might be taken away. Let that happen through some time out, and allow dreams to come in, you know, where you're actually dreaming of something you would really love to happen and to see in your 5th house. It's a house of joy and playfulness and fun, and it's so important to enjoy things. And Neptune would love frolicking, free-flowing playfulness. So if you can do some of that, that would be great. All the best, Scorpio. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Aotearoa or your Australia 2026 calendar. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Neptune is turning direct in the last few minutes of Pisces in your 4th house of home and family, your family of origin, your ancestry, the people you live with, or properties that you own. And you might have more clarity about what you need to do, or where you have been illusioned or seeing things through rose-colored lenses over the last while. Allow some time out to let your thoughts flow and intuition to bubble up, and expect that between now and the end of January, these last few weeks of Neptune being in Pisces, some things will come to an end. Allow them to dissolve and mistily float away, or allow the tide to take them away. You don't love the tide, Sagittarius. Maybe you're more of a fiery sign. You might like just things to burn up and burn away. Anyway, there's some clarity could come about where you've been illusioned. There are endings to expect in your house of family and home and property and ancestry. And intuition could come about something you might need to do or know or understand. You might find that you can be more charitable and empathetic towards others that are in your family of origin, and also allow yourself to dream about what you would love to have and see in that area in future. All the best, Sagittarius. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar to order your Aotearoa or your Australia Sun and Moon calendar. And I'm sorry about the washing machine noise in the background. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Neptune is turning direct at 29 degrees of Pisces, the last few minutes of Pisces, in your 3rd house. This is your house of local neighborhood, local learning in schools or local workshops, connecting with your neighbors, social media, trade and exchange, and community. So if you can take some time out between now and the end of January these last few weeks of Neptune being in Pisces to allow your intuition to bubble up, to allow your mind to flow to dreams and visions that you might want for the future in these areas, and also to accept and understand where you might have been delusioned, and I don't know what the word is, where you may have had delusions that you need to dispel, and accept that there could be endings. All right, so some things could be taken away by the tide, or they could just dissolve. This is a time of endings, but that will leave space for the new to come in. So all the best, Capricorn. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon calendar to order your Aotearoa or your Australia 2026 calendar. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, Neptune is turning direct in your second house. This is your house of your finances, your earnings, your resources, your money, how you look after your body, all right? And you may benefit from taking some time out to allow thoughts and ideas to flow and intuition to bubble up. And perhaps there could be recognition of where you have been deluding yourself, where you've been wearing rose-colored lenses, and where you need to see things with more clarity. And there also can be a need to accept that there are endings. Some things could be ending, dissolving, floating away with the tide, because this is a time of endings, that last few weeks of Neptune in the sign of Pisces until the end of January. But as well as that, you could have intuition that helps you with understanding, and you could have empathy and healing opportunities for your self-belief, your sense of self-worth, how you value yourself. So there can be healing there. And also it's a time to allow dreams and visions to come to you, and to encourage those dreams and visions for what you might want for the future after this time of ending. So all the best, Aquarius. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Aotearoa or your Australia copy of the 2026 calendar. So there we go, that is my video, but in this outro I want to give an example from the world of teaching about Neptune turning direct. So one of the things, some of the things that Neptune is to do with, as I've talked about, is compassion, empathy and mental health. And in the teaching world, of course, I'm a teacher, music teacher and a relief teacher in primary schools. So over the last couple of decades and beyond, more and more children have shown up, of course, with neurodiversity, whether that's autism, dyslexia, dyscalculia, highly sensitive traits, all sorts, and ADHD, ADD, all of those, and there's of course more medication happening. And one of the things that's been controversial has been that children who can be quite troubled with their behaviours in a social setting are still in classrooms, and they're not taken out of classrooms very much as they used to be, and there are fewer specialist schools and classes for children with neurodiversity, and that causes them to have some issues with socializing with a class. And so that has been controversial, but it's happening. And I had an incident when I was being a teaching reliever in a school recently, where I was on duty and I came across a kid who was upset, and I didn't know these kids because I was teaching in another class. They were from, somewhere else in the school. And I was on duty, so the kids come up to you with their problems. So this kid runs up and he says, Miss, that boy over there, he was swearing at me and he was angry with me, and he wanted to fight me, and he needs to say sorry to me. And so normally when that happens, you go and talk to the other kids, and you try and come to a resolution between them. Somebody usually needs to say sorry. Sometimes they both need to say sorry. And usually that kind of resolution, that conflict resolution process works. In this case, I looked over at the kid who was running away, and he looked really angry. And in the meantime, about 3 other kids had showed up, 3 or 4, and they started advising child number 1, and they said, oh, well, you know that this other one, let's say kid number 2, he has troubles, and he's got some anger issues, and he needs some time to cool down. And the other one, the next helping kid, they were like little angels, man. They were so full of wisdom. Another one of them said, oh yeah, you just need to give him some time out, and you know that you can probably talk to him later when we're with the teacher. And a third one said, you know that if you approach him directly, that usually doesn't go well, and you need to just speak to him in a calm voice, and then that will help him. And a fourth one came along with, you know, kid number 1, that you were pushing him a little bit much, and because he's got these troubles, he can't handle that very well. You can handle it better, but you need to remember that kid number 2 can't handle this as well. So these 3 or 4 angels, I think, they were so full of wisdom and empathy and compassion with helping kid number 1 and supporting kid number 2, the one who I think he was probably autistic, and he definitely looked really upset and he needed some time out. I thought they have learnt so much from having some of the troubled kids in their classes about ways to approach and support. And this is one of the best, I think, results of the influence of Neptune in Pisces, encouraging compassion, empathy, mental health support over the years. And there's been a lot of downsides with Neptune and Pisces, like higher drug use, victimhood, escapism, but I thought that this was just a lovely example. There's always controversy about including kids with behavioral issues in a mainstream class. The kids in the class can find that their time is taken up, the teacher's time is taken up with the kid with the behavioral issues, and sometimes the consequences for the things that they do, it seems unfair that the kid with the issues has lower consequences than the other kids. However, I felt that this example really showed up some benefits of that system. And if you've got any thoughts about that, I'd like to hear in the comments. But that's all from me now. Remember to order your Aotearoa or your Australia Sun and Moon calendar for 2026 from sunandmooncalendar.com. Print version or digital. So all the best, everyone. Have a good rest of the week.